Hi, best friend. All right, so I'm recording this one in the morning as well, hence my voice. But I want to talk about an issue that I feel we talk about or speak about in code a lot, and I'm just gonna call it spade a spade. Racism in China, where recruiters are concerned, schools are concerned, and just the society in general. Right, you do want to stick around for this one. So first, let's start with the society at large. So here, when it comes to being a black person, generally racism is framed as ignorance. And by that, I mean that people will just be like, oh, well, there's going to be excuses. Oh, well, they never get to really see people who don't really look like them. Or, it's just, it doesn't come from a place of hatred. It comes from a place of ignorance, which, I mean, I do get that aspect of it. There's no better racism, but I do sometimes feel like it doesn't come from a place of hatred. I come from South Africa, so it doesn't come from a place of hatred a lot of times, but sometimes it does come from a place of hatred. Or I need to educate myself because I never really feel the same way when I'm treated differently here than I would when I'm being treated differently by a Caucasian person. So there's those excuses. For example, this one time I was working with my previous colleagues to the canteen. So when you have to walk to the canteen, you kind of have to walk in the sunshine. There's no roof over you, you're just walking in the sun. And then she was like, oh no, I don't want to walk in the sun because I don't want to be black. I'm next to her. So yeah, maybe she meant, because there's also a language barrier, maybe she meant that she doesn't want to be burnt, but it did sting still because I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean? But it didn't sting as much as it would have when I first got here. So it was like my third year here. I was already used to it, desensitized, which it doesn't mean that it's okay, it just means that I knew what to expect. And then there's also the issue of, like, whenever you interact with a Chinese person or people from here, you are, as a black person, or at least in my case, I'm usually asked if I'm from America. I'm never asked where I'm from. It's like, are you from America? You know why? Because being black and from America is a better brand than being black and being from Africa, which really, really sucks for a lot of us. It really, really is annoying, especially when they say it's like, you know why they're asking it that way, because they will give you a little bit more respect because they deem America a little bit than them. So they will, by default, be forced to respect you in their own minds, as opposed to, oh, you're just an African, so I don't really rate you. You know what I mean? So there's that already in the society. There's so many other things. The taking of pictures, which I personally despise with everything in me, but I've been told that I'm doing too much. People are like this here, you don't have to be. I'm like, please just don't take a picture of me and then we're gonna be fine. I don't care. And it's usually white people who react that way when I'm genuinely annoyed at my pictures being taken of me without my consent. And I've had to stop being friends with some people because when I expressed that I don't like this, they're like, oh, you're just doing too much. They just like this here. And some people enjoy it, but I think it's just ridiculous to take pictures of people when you don't know them. I don't know if it comes from a place of racism, but I know that it does come from a place of disrespect. So as a black person, I'm sensitive to disrespect because it just is on brand every day. I expect it and I hate it. And then just the constant questions about your hair. I'm so grateful for some of my friends right now who are not black, who generally don't ask these stupid questions. I think the younger generation is trying to educate themselves, but I still get questions about my hair. And also here they think locks are dirty. I think it's all around the world, I don't know, but here they strongly believe that your hair, they want to touch it. I work with grade 4 right now. They never want to touch my hair. It was one time when I undid my braids, the long ones, and they were so confused. They're like, well, wait a minute, what happened to your hair? Your hair is long and whatnot. And they're innocent, they're kids. And of course, they were curious about what is happening with my hair. But in terms of them being curious, I worked with bigger kids who were obsessed with the idea of touching my hair, and I'm working with younger kids who really don't care. So it tells you something about society and just the weirdness that goes around as we grow as people. My younger students don't ask me questions about race, they just ask me questions about life. It's so different, and I see it every day. I'm like, oh, okay, adults grow up. As people grow, they grow and learn that they are better than other people, and then they want to dominate their being better, I guess. But yeah, there's questions about hair, there's questions about, are you wearing makeup? Your skin is looking a certain way. It's like, no, I'm not. Just my skin looks this way. I guess because I'm black. I don't know. We do put stuff on, but like, I've definitely gotten questions like that, and it didn't feel like it was coming from a good place. So now let's get to the gist, to the meat of why we're all here. I want to talk about the racism when it comes to just recruiters here and how they treat people. I saw one time, I'm not going to mention who, but like from one of the subscribers here, a recruiter was being so demeaning, like so rude to her. She spoke to her in a way that I was like, she wouldn't do this if she was a different race. She's doing this because she's a black person who obviously was desperate to get a job at the time. So yeah, if you didn't know it, recruiters are extremely racist here. One time when I was looking for jobs last year, I just applied everywhere, right? Recruiters and whatnot. If there's people who've been asking me via my email, well, how do I apply? There's a whole ESL tab on my YouTube where you can go and get that information. I'm definitely not going to respond to people individually when it comes to that. Just go through my videos, you're gonna know how to apply. So I was applying for jobs, and then this guy was like, at this point I'd gotten a job at the school I'm working at now, but I was still trying to see if there's better jobs, you know what I mean? So this guy is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna need you to send me a video, an intro video. And I was like, I don't need this job, so I can ask questions. So I was like, what do you want to see? I am black. Like, what do you want to see? And he was like, oh, in that case, the school's actually looking specifically for a white person. Literally, I'm going to insert the message. And I was like, had I made the video that he wanted, he wasn't even gonna hire me anyway or connect me with the school, because I'm not what he's looking for skin color wise. It doesn't matter that I've been teaching for 8 years, that I have a teaching degree, a teaching license, which is a big deal here. No, he just wanted a white person, and the white person doesn't even need to have all the things that I have that are desirable to schools generally. So yeah, I was like, why am I sending the video again? And then he was like, oh yeah, because the school wants a white person. And then there's also the case where they're asking you for a picture of yourselves because they want to see if you're black or white. Some schools do care about this, I'll get into that. And then let's get into some schools that strictly want white teachers, because that's also desirable here. The paler you are, I don't know if that's a word, the more desirable you are. So you can imagine the thinner, pale you are, the more acceptable you are. Imagine if you are a little bit on the big side and you're black. I don't even want to know. And I feel so bad about that. But anyway, that sounded wrong saying it. So some recruiters follow the school's requests in terms of the skin color of the people that they are hiring. So if you've been applying for jobs, or if you've been talking nicely with the recruiter and then suddenly they just stop talking to you, maybe after you guys have had a video call, it's because they realize you're black and then they just stop. Sometimes they don't know you're black properly before everything. Or sometimes they don't ask for a video, they ask for a call, right? Especially when you're not in China, so that way they will see who you are and what you look like. So yeah, sometimes that's why. And it trickles down to parents as well, because some parents insist on white teachers for their kids. So there's that. Like, some parents will not like you, they'll create problems for you because you're black. You might even get fired from a school or let go in this case. For being black. You did nothing wrong. You've been doing your job. You're great. Everyone is treated nicely, but you are not because you are black. I did have this happen to me in my first school, because nobody was submitting lesson plans, and then suddenly I was asked to submit my lesson plans. Mind you, I was the only person in that division who was a qualified teacher, but I was asked to submit my lesson plans. I was the only person from Africa, everyone else was from America, and even though there was another black person, they didn't make him do that. It was just like, oh, you need to start submitting lesson plans. But also I wasn't getting along with the manager. It could have been that as well, but it did happen that way. So sometimes you're not getting a job, not necessarily because there's something wrong with your CV even, or your resume. It's just that you are black, and it is what it is. I'm so sorry that that's happening. And it gets to be even more weird when it comes to salaries, because the paler you are, that's gonna be a word now, the more they want to pay, or they're willing to pay you. But like, if you're from Africa and you are black as me, they don't really want to pay you. So someone is asking me if am I asking for too much if I'm asking for 20,000 RMB? No, you're asking for way less in this market. But if you're coming here for the first time, yeah, sure, maybe it's reasonable, but it's not that you're asking for that much. It's just that you're black and they think that they should be paying you 10,000 RMB when they're paying white people close to 40,000 RMB, or even more sometimes in some cases in Shanghai. So essentially, there's still a lot of racism that goes on around here. It sucks. It's really annoying. And when you get here, you get to see it firsthand. Some parents are really nice about it. Some parents really don't want you to teach their kids. If you're black, you will get to just see that for yourself. I hope it doesn't happen to you, but we can never escape racism, Bessie. Unfortunately, it follows us everywhere we go. It's just distasteful. Okay, need to go to work. Bye, guys.